Mama D coming at you from 1111 True Crime. We're back in Arizona and we're going to be talking about the Nancy Guthrie case. JLR was live on the scene just a few minutes ago where it appeared, well, it wasn't just appearing, a white truck that had like a utilitarian type back section. You could open double doors. In fact, that truck pulled right up to Nancy's. Guy gets out, takes a briefcase, goes into Nancy's home, and then came back out, got what appeared. I won't say what it appeared, but he got something out of his white truck, went back in, then came right back out and left. So I'm looking at it, and friends of mine work for a coroner's office down in Arizona, and they messaged me and said that looked like a coroner's office vehicle, and her dad worked there for like 30 years, so I don't know. So I'm trying to get comfortable because we got some stuff to talk about in the Nancy Guthrie case. Not only did that happen, but there's preliminary things that are saying. Now, I'm going live right at the time that I'm sure Brian Hinton is announcing it, but the glove did not match anybody's DNA in Codex. So what happened was the glove that was found 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's had unknown male DNA. I've asked all along, does it have Nancy's DNA on it? Because if it doesn't have Nancy's DNA, how do you know it was even from her house? But that glove got sent off to Florida by the sheriff, and then there was that little, I don't know, between the sheriff and the FBI. Well, it had to come back, and it's a rule that feds have. FBI has to test it in the state that it was found in, and that before they can put it into Codex. So they had to retest the glove. They retested it. They put the unknown male DNA into Codex. No hit. So that's where we sit on that. Now, what's been going on behind the scenes that I think is really important, Brian Hinton said that they had pictures, 40 suspects or people of interest, 40 pictures that they would take around to all the gun shops that they're looking to ask the people at the gun shops, do you recognize any of these people? Did they buy a gun? And so forth, which I'll be honest is a huge, huge waste of time. Because a person that is illegally doing an activity is not going to go to a gun shop, in my opinion, where they have to register legally who purchased the gun, when, and all that. When there's a gun show that happened 2 weeks before Nancy Guthrie disappeared, where nobody asks any questions, you pay the guy in cash, you walk out with whatever kind of gun you want, and you're not on record. So why are we wasting all this 40 suspect time of going to every gun shop, blah, blah, blah? Please tell me that you guys realize that there was a gun show 2 weeks prior. Just saying. We are live, my darlings, and we have a live audience, and we have our beautiful replay crew. I have, of course, sprinkled your replay crew with all kinds of lovely, cushy, and warm, loving things for you. And it's all for my replay crew. And if you are in the live audience, I want to say thank you also for joining me. And I've sprinkled your live arena area, your live chat area, with all kinds of goodies, too. Now you just got to find them. What are they? They're whatever you imagine. Thank you guys for hitting like. Thank you so incredibly much for all the support of our channel here at 1111 True Crime. You guys are just pushing it through the roof. I'm just saying the sky's the limit, right? So it's really sad. I was looking it up, and I come to find out that, just on a side note for Nancy, her birthday was just in January. And so it kicked up on my feed a 4-year-old video of when Savannah was on the Today Show wishing Nancy Guthrie, her mother, a happy birthday. And I watched it, and it really tore me up because I'm like, I can't take much more of this. Where in the world is Nancy Guthrie? And the reason I say world is because is possibly Nancy really in Mexico? At this point, I have a hard time understanding why anybody would kidnap an 84-year-old woman that had any reason to keep her alive other than ransom. And ransom doesn't seem to be the thing, right? That seems to have not been the plan. Like 4 days after, and all of a sudden that. So we had this big thing happen on Friday the 13th into Friday the 14th, Valentine's Day, where like all hell broke loose in Tucson, and it was all related to the Guthrie case. 1.9 miles away at a man's home. His name is Luke Daley, by the way, and I did a face match, if you will, like I mapped his face, and yeah, that's crazy how wild that looks. Like I was surprised that it even looked more to me like the suspect. Like, to me, it's dead on. Like, I would just go get him. I would just pull him in the station, and I would be like, listen, dude, we got you square to none. Anyway, so that's wild. But then, at the very same time that they were raiding that home that Luke lives in, and they removed a man and a woman that was allegedly a mother and a son that may have been the mother of Luke Daley and the brother. Just saying, could have been, right? At that very same time, Luke decides to tear off out of there. Like, oh, I ain't gonna get busted. Like, he got heads up somehow. And he's just flying away. Well, they pull him over a traffic stop in the Culver's restaurant, and his vehicle is seized. And he's detained. Now, yesterday, well, actually, let me back up. A few days prior, Brian Enton went over to the home, just like JLR. I have something in my eye that keeps bothering me, and did the, anybody home? I'd like to ask you a couple questions on the door. And saw movement, maybe a woman, wasn't sure. In the driveway was parked this vehicle at the time. Exactly as you're seeing it. Like, I grabbed this off the clip of Brian Enton walking up there. Now, JLR went up there one time, not two. Neither of them, Brian nor JLR, got an answer to the door. But this vehicle, this one right here, that you see on your screen, was towed yesterday. Now, we don't know by who. We do not have officially word why a tow truck picked it up. Could it be that the vehicle was getting fixed? It's in bad condition. Keep in mind, there was a hit and run that night, and there was a casualty, a fatality with a hit and run, which will be manslaughter at best, right? And then we got this broken down. But in the hit and run, they're looking for a completely different vehicle, a navy blue Elantra, I believe. What is in my eye, y'all? Hold on. We are live, and you know, when you have something in your eye, you can't really do anything but focus on your nope. Okay, hold on. And I don't want nobody to say my finger is in my eye. Okay. All right, feels better. So you guys, that's a lot to consider. So it's probably not that vehicle, this one here. It's probably not this that was involved in the hit and run, but that's just all weird. But what's interesting, you guys, is what the rumors are. You heard me, right? Rumors. We have not one thing, hard copy, that connects anybody to anything. Rumor. Speculation station. We have arrived. We do have Kayla, here, who is the girlfriend allegedly to said Luke, that lives at the house where the Range Rover in the Culver's parking lot was towed away, was what he was driving. Now, from everything I understand, Luke purchased the Range Rover, get this, on the 23rd of January 2026. It'd be a week later that Nancy Guthrie goes missing. A week and a day, something like that. And then 3 weeks later, he's in the Culver's parking lot and his vehicle's being seized. Also, remember how this happened on Friday 13th, that all hell broke loose and they went and they busted open Luke Daley's home, pulled out the man and the woman that we think is the mother and the brother, okay? And then they detained them, and then they detained Luke at Culver's, and they seized his Range Rover. His girlfriend, little Kayla, was arrested the day before. Fact. 12th of February. Anybody else going, what is going on here? More interesting than that, I was watching TMZ with Harvey. Okay, listen. He's come out today and said that the letters, they're just going to stop reporting on the letters about, I know what happened to Nancy, I know where she is, and all this kind of stuff. He's going to stop reporting about it because that way nobody knows if the letter stopped or if the person got in touch with the cops to protect the person mailing or something. Well, here's my thing. I got to thinking about these letters. If Kayla was busted on the 12th of February, was TMZ's letters stopped? Did they stop? I know they say, we got it today. That's just what they say. Was Kayla the one that knew all about Miss Nancy? Because she is allegedly the girlfriend of Luke. And could she be the one that is writing the letters to TMZ? Think about it. TMZ is saying that this person's reporting that they don't trust the feds or the cops or any of that, that they have a criminal past, that they don't feel comfortable coming forward because they could be implicated, possibly, all this. Well, Kayla has quite a serious criminal past. And she's a tattoo artist, so she's got plenty of black gloves laying all over the place. It makes me go, huh? Now, rumor, y'all, it's rumor, has it, and only rumor, that she is Nancy Guthrie's niece through the marriage of the Guthrie, Nancy's husband, ex-husband, or not ex, but I don't know if he passed away or if they got divorced. But, however, yeah. Is she? I don't know. We have nothing. I'm getting my lotion, y'all. My bottle's almost empty. All right. So, I want your opinion. I'm going to show you some pictures, some more pictures of her. Let's get over it. You don't need to watch me put my lotion on. Let's get over to this, and I'll read this to you while I rub it in. Nancy Guthrie case. This was just found floating on Facebook, speculation station, but it is interesting. Nancy Guthrie case. Find this interesting. This part's true. It was around 11 p.m. that Kayla Nicole Day was arrested on the 12th of February this year, 2026. It is also true that Nancy is the girlfriend of Luke Anthony Daley, person detained on 2/13/26 by SWAT team. So do you see that? 2/12, 2/13? Yeah, that's all fact. This is where the speculation comes in. This person put, and I took the name off so that way we don't involve anybody. She is also related to Penny Guthrie, who is related to Annie Guthrie, who is then related to Nancy Guthrie. And Mary Daley, Luke's mom, owns an excavating company. They just towed a second vehicle from the house that was raided by SWAT on the 13th. So the only parts of this that we don't know as fact, because I don't have a hard copy of it, is that she's related to Penny Guthrie, who is related to, I think she meant Nancy Guthrie. And we don't know for sure, I don't have anything anyway, that Luke Daley's mother owns an excavating company. Now we start getting into problems, because I don't know about y'all, but where would you, if your mom owned an excavating company, that's a lot of places where there's land and possibly just mounds of dirt. Okay? I mean, that's kind of scary. So you don't trust the sheriff, Bunny? Me either. Me either. Sheriff was just on and said no CODIS match, and no, he isn't thinking it's a burglary. I don't think so either. He passed away. The husband passed away of Nancy. Okay. Who is saying that it was no match? The sheriff and I believe the feds have too. Don't quote me though. Aw, Nikki says please hit that like button if you haven't already. It's much appreciated. And thank you. Right? Jamie, sheriff was just on and said no CODIS match. And no, he isn't thinking it's a burglary. Well, I'm so glad that you're still here, Nana J. Boom. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Jennifer says, I think Kayla is a relative of Penny Guthrie who is related to Nancy. But then you run into this whole bullshit. I'm just calling it like I see it, where Sheriff Nano is out here going right away, putting in print that, you know, the Guthrie family and their husbands, right, their spouses, are all clear. And then he turns around and gives an interview, and the person's like, are they all clear? Are the family all clear, including husbands? And he's like, well, you know, they've cooperated and they've been the nicest people and they're going through so much. And she says, but that didn't clear them just because they're cooperating. Are they clear? And he's like, well, no one's clear. Y'all, I'm not hungry for breakfast and I'm really sick of his waffling. You feel me? So he don't know what the hell he's talking about. Till the FBI clears him, I'm just going to be like, my thing. Rick, hello. I did construction all my life, and that is really good information because they can dig a hole and push dirt. I hope this didn't happen at the bottom of my heart. I hope it didn't happen. But they need to, and I'm sure you're going to say, go look, right? Just like I am. He's now saying he thinks it's kidnapping, all in the same interview. You think he's corrupt, Jamie? I think he's compromised myself. I really do. Someone needs to check in the sheriff what connection he may have. Makes you wonder why he's so protective there. The feds didn't look too protective as they were going along, looking at everything and, you know, going into Guthrie's home there, Annie's home, and photographing at night and most likely using Lumina. Bunny says that sheriff has been trying to offset this case from the beginning. Yeah. What was it, 36 hours? And he was like, all right, everybody, nothing to see here. Go home. Yeah, we're permanent closing the search. It's ridiculous. Sheriff Nano. I doubt he'll be reelected. You know what? Sheriff Nano is going to be doing the janitor work down at the local McDonald's. Bad vibes. I feel the same way. Sack the sheriff. I sacked the sheriff. Did Nancy have home health care? That's a good question. I'm not sure, so Farina. I'm not sure, lovely. That's why he let Scene go and screwed up the future case. I don't know. Could be. Could be. I'm really interested in these two. So, if you look over here at Miss Barely Awake, that is actually Kayla Nicole Day. And then we have that picture. Sleuth Intuition is the one that originally matched this. And then this, I don't even know if it's a real news program, but it was interesting. They put Kayla Day, girlfriend of Luke Daley, arrested in connection to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Kayla Noel, and it's Noel, Day, was arrested late on the evening. Oh, it is Noel. I'm wrong. It is Noel. Was arrested late evening. Yeah, but they do have a little bit there. But here's the thing, y'all. She already had warrants out for her arrest. And then we're like, how did they come up with Luke's name? So I was thinking about this. What if they grabbed her the day before and maybe she told them some information that put Luke in their line of sight? What do you think of that? Parsh Posey, one of the locals, said yesterday that the sheriff is a big-time Democrat and has a problem with this FBI. I don't care if he's a Democrat or Republican. I am not political, but I will tell you, he stinks. Just saying. I don't even know what it says, Funny, I have to retype it. What happened? Hey, Kaz Hall, welcome in. Doesn't she look a little bit like Annie? What do you think, you guys? Do you think she looks like Annie a little bit? Let me go get a picture of Annie. It's been forever since I've looked at Annie because I really don't like looking at her. Maybe they just like to get high. All right, hold on. I'm going to go grab a picture of Annie for you. And then I'll come up there and we'll see if you think they favor. Where am I? I've got so many pictures going on. Okay. Let's turn her so that they're... Like I said, maybe they both just like to smoke. What are your thoughts? I don't know. I want you to listen to Matt. This is one of my favorite young men, and his name is Matt. I have a hard time saying his last name. Thibodia. Okay? But I just love his channel, and he does YouTube, but he's really big on TikTok, or I think it's TikTok.
To the people who were detained the other night in connection to Nancy Guthrie's case, based on what I'm hearing, more than 3 people were detained. And a couple of them, while initially released after being detained for questioning, may still be considered persons of interest here. The first individual being this person right here, Lucas Daley, who was the person that was detained during a traffic stop while driving this Range Rover that he allegedly purchased on 1/23/2026 from MG Motors. Luke Daley...
Okay, hold on. I want to go back. I want that picture of him because that to me looks exactly like the eyes of this masked dude. So hold on. Man. Oh, by the way, guess what I found out? Look closely. Let me get this off the board. There we go. Look closely what we found out. We're going, well, let's undo that. Hold on. Hood the phone. We're going to copy it. Let's just copy this entire sheet. Duplicate. Okay. Now we can mess with it all we want. I want you to look at something. This is Luke Daley, the Range Rover owner. Okay. I have something very important to tell you. Oh yeah, we have this copied already, so I can just do what I want to it. Give me a second, it's worth it. I'm just curious. But anyway, what do you notice here? And they're the same person, I assure you. What are you seeing? Are you noticing that up here he has contacts in? And this is not a lighting issue. This is not the camera. He legitimately has in contacts. You can see that the pupils are duplicated with the little circles around them, because all his other photos, this man has almost black eyes. How intriguing is that? That he is actually switches up. That's right, different eye color. Thank you, Lucy Lou-Hoo. The sheriff reminds you of the Idaho cops. I think he's worse. Bunny says, lips are distinctive in the video. Do they match? Good question. They look small, don't they? Melody Mi-young, hello. Her nose looks like that guy. Matt's picture of Luke is so different. Yeah. It's the same guy. Okay. He changes up his appearance so much. Let's go ahead. Let's mess with this for a minute. This is exactly how I would expect the dude in the mask to look, though. Seriously. We're going to trim it up. Okay, let's go and do a little transition. So I'm wondering, is Kayla involved? Is she the one that's been talking to TMZ, and now that they're saying they're not going to get any more, give out any more information about it, it's because they lost their source, because she is in the clink, because Kayla's been arrested. Kayla has been arrested. All right, I'm just matching the centers of the eyes. Hold on, y'all. It's really difficult, but I want to see. Okay, we've got them in the center of both eyes. I wish I could tilt this just in between. Not there. That's not bad. Okay, kind of. Let me see if I tilt it one more. And it still feels like it needs to go a little bit bigger. Ooh! I matched it. All right. Are y'all ready? We're going to transition him from Luke to the dude. Here we go. Is it big enough for you guys? I can make it bigger. All right. Are you ready to transition? I want you to tell me. We're doing it cold on the spot. Look how good I lined that up. All right, we're going down to the mask. Now you're going to be able, in the next one, you should be able to see the mask even better. Okay. And then the mask. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That is wild. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know, y'all. That is just wild. That is the best match I have ever seen in my entire life. And what's wild is it doesn't matter what picture I use of this man. I can just grab one. And I'm like, yep, there he is. Why haven't you busted him? This is just my humble opinion. You guys might totally... Okay, so Michelle Clifford says, nope, those aren't the eyes. Okay. That might be your thought. I'll let you be the judge. Your opinion matters to me, so I think they are the eyes. But what do I know? JSS says, same guy. Hazel says, just my opinion, the sheriff is very shadowy. Those eyebrows, says Nana Nana J. You're better than the Houston sketch expert. Thank you, Jamie. That's why I saved the video. Thank you, Michelle. They don't quite line up. Look at the right wrist. Does he have a tattoo on it? I don't have his wrist, honey. I'm sorry, I don't. All I have is his face. as Mama says, wild. So I agree. So I find that interesting. It is interesting that Kayla is arrested at 11 p.m. on the 12th of February. The very next night, Luke, her boyfriend, is busted at Culver's in the feds, and we saw all of them go into his home and detain his alleged mother and brother. They released them all without arresting them, but they did not release that Range Rover. In fact, they doubled down and were actually swabbing it. Were they looking for blood? Nancy Guthrie came out of that home, we know, bleeding. That or someone staged her blood, but that would be really difficult to do, and it passed the mustard. Here's why. Because blood coagulates so quickly. That's why we scab over and quit bleeding within just a few seconds. And if you have blood thinners in you, you're still going to bleed a lot because you don't have that ability to coagulate your blood as easy. You have a blood thinner, right? Now, if we were to try to stage, let's say, Nancy's blood on the porch, we would only have a few minutes at best to get that blood in its natural liquid state, to drop it all along there, because it starts congealing. Now, you can add a preservative into the vial, which is what they do when they see they're going to take your blood in the vial, when you give a blood sample, and they're going to add a drop of a substance that keeps it from setting up, if you will. However, that chemical is easily detected in blood, so they can't fake it, right? I mean, they're not going to have that chemical to keep that blood from coagulating. So it would appear, since it is Nancy's blood, that she would have had to have been in the home, and therefore that can't be staged, in my humble opinion, based on my research. Now, I learned a lot of that in the Steve Avery trial, where they spent, I don't know, what was it, 6 days, 5 days, I don't know, it was a lot, talking about, could the blood of a victim be planted inside of her car, and how would they go about doing that, and so forth. And the problem was that the blood actually had poured, like you see these blood spatter with the drop down gravity drops. They're not splattering out. And yes, I know it's blood spatter, but they're not splattering out. It's gravity drop, 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 drop. And it makes you wonder, why would they remove her from the home? And yet, we don't really have a ransom. That's the part that don't make sense. Like, if it's not for kidnapping and getting money in a ransom, we give proof of life and da-da-da-da, then why? So if we were to go back to the ransom idea, is it that it basically the intent was to kidnap her, keep her alive, and all this kind of stuff, get the money and do proof of life and then return her? They would have had to research her, and they would have known simply by the fact that she's older, that 99% chance that she has to have certain medications or she'll pass away. You'd have to be a complete idiot to think that an 84-year-old woman isn't dependent on some form of medicine that carries a cane and is frail. I mean, seriously. So I just kind of can't go with the whole ransom thing that didn't pan out. So if you take ransom off the table and you take off the There's no way it was a burglary went wrong, in my opinion, because nothing was taken allegedly. Nothing but Nancy. So Nancy's the target. So that's what it feels like to me, is Nancy is the target. How long before Medicare ends? I have no idea, hon. Hi, Jan Funk. Good to see you, lovely. I agree with you, I almost called you Nancy. Jennifer Swain says if it was a real ransom note, they would have left it Nancy's. I agree. Hi, Jamie Love. That big pharma story is someone from Ohio or some crazy AI mess. AI said it wasn't her. I don't even know what's going on, Jamie. Sorry. Life insurance or inheritance, y'all. Same people that benefit from life insurance also have a will of inheritance. Eileen says she had to know them normally, then leave them behind. This is sad. Michelle says if she has anything to do with the big pharma to screw over Medicare. All right, my lovelies. It's possible that there may be something with big pharma, but if you've looked at Nancy lately in her last year, or even the year before that, there's nothing on her Facebook about big pharma. She's also dependent, life dependent on big pharma. Why would she? I mean, AI put out one thing and now everybody's screaming big pharma. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. I think it's far more involved than that. Okay, Nancy was a spokesperson for the University of Arizona Medical Center. All right, man. All right, Miss Blenny. Thank you for giving me that. I will go try and find that out. So let's see what you're saying. So, what'd you call it? University. My brain. Of Arizona Medical Center. Nancy Guthrie. If she's on the board anywhere, we'll know. We've got a Yahoo. Okay, through Yahoo. Let me see what this says. AZ Central, the Arizona Republic. Nancy Guthrie's friends recall her brilliant, kind, and generous nature. This was published on the 14th of... Let me give you the website real quick. Hold on, you guys. This way you can share it with me. Let's read about this. Now, this was published by Sarah Lapidus, Arizona Republic, and it says Nancy Guthrie led an active, vibrant life before her disappearance, taking part in social activities from book clubs and church to networking with other professionals like herself, according to her friends. Her disappearance shocked the world and those closest to her. People in her life are heartbroken by what happened because of the way she lives her life, said Jacqueline Sharkey, professor emerita at the University of Arizona. She's completely devoted to her family, her faith, and her community. Sharkey said she's been deeply engaged in education issues, in issues of public health, such as Saving the Poison Information Center. She's wise and she's kind. Aw. Sharkey first met Guthrie in the 1990s when she taught her daughter Savannah Guthrie at the University of Arizona School of Journalism. Sharkey last saw Guthrie in 2012 before she retired from heading the journalism department. She remembered Guthrie's pivotal role. This was back in 2012, y'all. You do realize that's 15 years ago, 14 years ago. Sharkey last saw Guthrie in 2012 before she retired from heading the journalism department. She remembered Guthrie's pivotal role in saving the University of Arizona's Poison Information Center, a 24/7 hotline for people exposed to toxic substance that was at risk of being shut down. Sharkey and Guthrie were part of a group tasked with saving the center in the pre-internet days. Guthrie looked at the data the group collected and informed the public about the importance of the hotline. The group collected more than 20,000 signatures that were delivered to the governor and saved the center. She also called Guthrie a quiet leader who was committed to working behind the scene to benefit the community, whether it was education, public health, or with her church. Those who worked with her depended on her wisdom and guidance, Sharkey said. She also pointed out to Guthrie's honesty, noting how Guthrie can be gentle and diplomatic while always telling the truth about what she thinks. Patricia Sturman also described Guthrie similarly, saying her longtime friend is smart and witty and not afraid to speak out and identify people who are misguided or foolish. Hold on, y'all. She is very special. She opens up to people who she meets, and she is genuine and very well educated, said Sturman, who has known Guthrie for 20 years. The last time Sturman saw Guthrie was just before Christmas. They met at Beyond Bread, a locally owned bakery, cafe, and sandwich chain where they drank coffee and chatted for an hour and a half. They had planned to see each other in February, but Guthrie hasn't been seen since January 31st. Authorities think she was abducted in the middle of the night in her Catalina Foothills home. Surgeon wanted to make one thing clear about her dear friend. Guthrie may be 84 years old, but she continues to be as brilliant and astute as ever, she said. Yes, we're old, but we're not less brilliant. Guthrie worked as a spokesperson for the University Medical Center and the University of Arizona, a career she found after her husband died suddenly in 1988 from a heart attack. From one day to the next, Guthrie had to raise her 3 children on her own. She never skipped a beat, said Sturman. The 84-year-old mother also went to church and held Bible study class. And that's it. So, I mean, take it for whatever you'd like, but for me, let me get you something to look at, y'all. Man, that's wild. For me, my big question, let me make this smaller because it's like Kayla's right in your face. For me, the timing of Luke living 1.9 miles away, his house getting busted, his Range Rover getting towed, his girlfriend getting busted the day before. What do you think? What do you think? Do you want me to look at it right this minute, Zozo? Okay, hold on. I don't have an email, sweetie. I'll refresh. Maybe it hasn't gone through yet. I have nothing from you, Zoe. The last thing I got from you, Zoe, is the sheriff's statement. Sorry. Tinky sent it to Mama's email. No, nobody sent it to my email. I got nothing. Gotta redo it, I guess. Linda Glover says if they stayed in the house for 40 minutes, then they knew no one else was expected to be coming in later. They knew Nancy lived alone. They know her or watched the house for a while. I think so. I think so. You're welcome, Michelle Clifford. No, not me. Just giving you email address out. Yeah, there's no email. I got nothing. And I closed it down already because it was empty. Don't forget to do the email completely. What was Kayla's arrest for? It was not related to Nancy Guthrie. She already had a warrant out for her arrest. I believe she missed court and so forth. She has drug charges and burglary stuff. Danny, doesn't Annie work for the University of Arizona too? Not that I know of. She's a, she may have though, but I don't think she does now. Oh, thank you, thank you. It is 41 minutes is odd. It is. But Michelle Lovely, do you really think that they're going to kill her, take her out, and do all what? Hold on, y'all. If the woman, if Nancy was doing Medicare awareness, I mean, why would they not pew her in her home and walk away? Why are they taking her out alive? I don't know, y'all. I just don't think so. Can I post a guy? No, sorry, Tink, you can't. No, not on YouTube. It doesn't let us post pictures on YouTube unless you're on the camera side. Melanie says Nancy did share some posts about ICE on her Facebook page 4 days before she disappeared. And who hasn't? I'm sorry, you guys. I feel like that's such a stretch. I'm just letting y'all know how I feel. I just spill paint from what I've heard. Burglars go in quickly and out quickly and usually happen in a day when people are usually out. Jackie Strong, hello. Tucson alien. Okay, let me slow this down. What now? Jackie Strong. Tucson alien smuggler sentenced to prison for 11 years for killing 80-year-old woman. Is this related? I have no clue. Today is off. Like, I'm not connected, man. I'm not. Was Kayla living in... Thank you for asking a question, but I don't know. I don't know. Was Kayla living in the rent house with them all? Was it a rental? I don't know, you guys. I don't have the answers. I don't. I don't think anybody has the answers in the Nancy Guthrie case. But I will tell you what may have the answers, and that is pulling cards. And that's the best answers I can get. I know we have a lot of questions. Now, we can leave here together and we can pull some cards and see, is Kayla and Luke involved according to the cards? Are they the lovers we keep seeing over and over in the reading? Are you curious? I'm curious. So with that, if this is where you leave me and you're just going to skip the next step because tarot's not your thing, I totally respect that. It's absolutely your choice. I want to say thank you so much for joining me. I wish I had more answers to give you. I want to say thank you so very much for hitting like, subscribe, and for hyping me up on the replay, watching the video, all the wonderful things that you always do that support our channel, because you're amazing. You're simply amazing, and I greatly appreciate you. Now, if you do want to, if this is where you want to continue on with me, we're going to jump over to our tarot board, which is basically my desk, and I'm going to pull some cards and see, are Kayla and Luke involved? What do the cards say? Are they the lovers that we've been talking about? That's interesting, right? I want to know too. And were they the ones that were paid to do the job? Were they hired? Is there somebody above them that was like, hey, you two, I got a deal for you? And does Kayla come up knowing Annie Guthrie or Nancy Guthrie? That's another question I want to know. And if I don't have the right questions, don't worry. After I do the reading, we're going to come back for a third live, which today we're going to let anybody and everybody, all of you, even if you're just a subscriber, which you're my subscriber and I love you, so it's not just a subscriber, but that's all you got to be able to ask questions today. In other words, you do not have to be a private eye today. Remember, you can just be in the game to ask the questions in the case All right. I love you so very much. I thank you for everything that you do to support the channel. And say a little prayer for Nancy Guthrie. We need to find out where she is. With that, my loves, I will see you again very, very soon. Thank you.
The dust I was born, to the dirt I shall return. When my eyes are closed, in the shadows, my enemies will think they won, but I'm here to stay. Destiny will overcome, no, I am not afraid. Like a thief